Hi everyone, welcome back to the Solutions Lab. I'm Chris Phillips. Thank you so much for joining us here today. Today we're going to be talking about Microsoft Intune, and we're talking about managing Copilot PCs. And to do that, I brought along my good friend Richie. Richie's a senior tech specialist here at D&H. He's also our Microsoft guru. I'd call him. It's fair to call you that, right?
Yeah, you can call me the guru. Yep.
He's been with D&H for about a year plus.
A year and a half. Yep.
And he just anytime I need help with Microsoft related stuff, Richie's the person I'm going to. So I'm super glad you're here today to talk to us about Intune and how to manage Copilot PCs, because it's been one of the things that you've been doing a lot of work with since you joined D&H. Is kind of taking this new class of PC and teaching all of our customers about that.
Yep.
But before we get to Copilot PCs, I do want to talk a little bit about Intune. For those who don't know very much about Intune, can you kind of explain to people what Intune is?
Sure. Yeah. So Intune is a management suite which is cloud-based, which manages all your devices. And with devices, you're talking about tablets, laptops, desktops, Mac PCs. So it can manage pretty much all of those. The other thing it can manage also is applications and security.
By manage, what do you mean by manage? Is it just putting a Windows login on it, or is it doing more granular control of the devices?
It does a lot more granular control. Okay. So obviously, when you have the device enrolled into the Intune management, you're able to restart that device. You're able to install applications on the device, apply updates to that device. Those are the kind of things that you can do, and even with those applications, there's specific applications you can put in there and say, hey, this application goes to this particular device.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
And you could also disable features, whether it's hardware features like the camera or the USB ports, or software features like we're going to kind of show today,
yes,
right?
Like anything that would be, if anyone's familiar with the Active Directory, anything that can be controlled through Active Directory, it can be done through that. So using policies. So any feature, if either it's your camera, even granular as to even the brightness of the laptop, can all be
awesome.
managed in there. So you can get into any laptop, and you can remotely get into any laptop just to remote management as well.
Yeah, we could do a whole podcast, webcast on just the how to set up Intune and how to enroll devices and kind of go through all that stuff.
Yep.
We don't have the time to do that today, but what I do talk about is kind of managing these Windows Copilot PCs, because a lot of people have been a little bit hesitant to embrace the Copilot PCs because they're worried about some of the AI features and being able to manage them.
Right.
Before we get into managing them, can you tell a little bit or tell people about those AI features that are available on Copilot PCs for those who might not be aware?
Sure. So Copilot PCs, what is unique about them is with other devices is they are AI capable. So the hardware on the device. Yeah. So they have built-in NPU. So traditional laptops have a CPU, a GPU. Copilot PCs has an NPU, which drives the AI on those devices. And because of that, they have special features on there. You have click to do, you have recall, Windows Studio Effects, live translate, and it does have a bunch of local AI applications as well, custom applications that could be built into the Copilot PC. And all of that can all be managed through Intune.
Cool. Recall is obviously the kind of the most famous of them. That is the one that's kind of looking at your screen on a regular basis, taking screenshots and allowing you to be able to search through plain English about, hey, I was looking at shoes 2 weeks ago. Can you bring up that website, and I'll be able to pull that up through Recall.
It has a snapshot which you can set. You can do 30 days and 90 days. And it does a snapshot of everything that you've been working on. And since it's all that's being recorded, in Intune you can manage what can be recorded, what cannot be recorded. Especially if you're working on a certain application that you do not want to be recorded, that can be applied on there as well, and not to use that, not to record that application.
And all these features, the click to do, recall, live translation, I believe we all have demos for all that stuff on dnh.com.
Yes.
So if you want to take a look at those demos individually, you can go ahead. Don't have a ton of time to do that today. The other thing I wanted to talk about real quick is you did mention that these devices have CPU, GPU, NPU built right in. That is kind of the core feature of these new Intel Ultra processors that we're seeing right now that are powering these Copilot Plus PCs, like the one we have here, that has the powerful NPU built right in. Not only does it kind of enable those AI features, in my experience, even outside these AI features, let's say we go into Intune and disable a bunch of stuff because we don't want recall to run on it, but we don't want click to do. People would ask, what's the benefit if you're not using all those things? These new Ultra CPUs, because of the NPUs that are baked right in, those act as kind of low-powered cores as well. So I'm seeing when I'm using my kind of Windows Intel Ultra devices, I'm seeing better battery life off a charger, better performance off charger is probably one of the key things. It doesn't throttle as much. When I unplug it and use it, kind of like how this is unplugged right now, I'm still getting the full power of the device. The main thing I'm also seeing is just less heat. Like the old Intel devices could get a little warm. Old laptops in general could get a little warm, whether it was Intel, AMD, whatever. But the new Ultra ones do a little bit job of power managing the power, and managing heat. So that's key takeaways if you guys are interested in these Core Ultra devices past what they do for AI. But with that, I think we've kind of talked a little bit about Intune and kind of these AI features. Let's jump into the Intune dashboard and start to demo how you can manage these features for yourself.
Absolutely.
So here we are on the Intune dashboard, and before we kind of get started, can you show us what devices we have that we can manage within the dashboard, Richie?
Sure. So this is the dashboard. I'm going to click on devices.
And then right here, you can see what you were talking about earlier. Not only can you manage the Windows devices, you can do Apple Mobile, Mac OS, Android, or Linux devices
as well. Yes.
That's awesome. Go ahead.
So I'm going to click on the Windows devices, and it's going to populate 4 devices that we have enrolled.
Mm-hmm. And I'm noticing that they just say OS Windows. Is there a way to tell the difference between a Windows 11 Pro PC and a Copilot Plus PC?
You cannot tell if it's a Copilot Plus PC. When you apply those features or disable those features, if it is a Copilot Plus PC, they will be applied. If they're not, it will not be
So in most cases, when you're building an OU within Intune and you're putting a bunch of devices in there, if you have a mixed environment where you have a bunch of Copilot Plus PCs and some Windows Pro PCs, you can still apply the same policies to both those devices and without affecting...
It will not affect anything. Okay. If it's a Copilot Plus PC and those features are there, it will be applied. Cool. If it doesn't, it's just going to ignore that.
Awesome. So let's start applying some policies directly targeted to Copilot Plus PCs.
Sure.
So first things first, like how do you create a policy and...
So once you get to the devices, you're going to go to the configuration. Once you get a configuration, you're going to create a policy.
Okay.
New policy. You're going to select Windows 10 and later.
Okay.
We're going to go to the settings catalog. Create. We're going to do recall.
Okay.
That's the feature which we're going to manage. So the policy name would be recall.
You can name it whatever you want.
You can name it whatever you want.
Yeah, that's fine.
There's a description if you'd like to add a description. And here we're going to add the settings. So we're going to go to Windows AI.
There's a lot of categories.
There's a lot of categories, exactly. So these are all the AI features that can be enabled or disabled.
Okay.
So we're going to go to recall. So here's recall. So we're going to allow recall. By default...
Yeah, that's important. It says allow recall. So by default, it's not allowed.
It is not allowed.
That's again, something I've been saying to people very, very loudly, like, hey, this is something you got to opt into.
Yes.
So this is how you opt into it.
Yes, and recall, and because recall does require like biometrics, or it needs like a second factor authentication. That's the reason why it's on there.
Okay.
So once you enable that, and if your devices do have that authentication, you'll be able to use recall. So so by default it is disabled. So we're going to enable it here,
Okay.
and then we're going to do some granular controls
Sure.
on that as well. So here's allow recall. So when you allow recall, there's a bunch of options that we have in here. So you can set deny app list for recall. You can do that for all devices or to a particular user.
Okay.
So for example, if there's an application that you do not want recorded, you can specify that application in here.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna click on that because there would be some applications.
And we'll be able to do that later.
Yes.
Okay.
We can do that later. And you can set the maximum storage duration for snapshots.
Okay.
So the duration would be, which I had mentioned before, you can do 30 days, 90 days. And you can even set it to like 5 days. It depends on whatever you want to do.
Right, and it depends a lot of storage of the device as well, because all the snapshots get stored locally.
Locally, yes.
So, okay.
So depending on how much space you have, and you can do that to a particular user as well.
Okay.
And there's a storage space again. The storage space it's your maximum storage space, or how much storage space it can use.
So I only wanted to use 10 gigs regardless of the number of days.
So with that 10 gigs, it's just going to stop at 10 gigs. So
I think that's the way I usually usually manage recall myself. Is like I just give it a number of storage. I don't care about the days.
We're going to close that, and we're going to. So there is your option.
Okay.
So we can go back to this option, but now we're just going to create that. Next.
Okay.
Now this is important. Here you got to add it to a group. So I have a group which I created. So I'm going to go to add groups. So I'm going to go to human resources. Now in human resources, I have devices assigned to human resources.
Okay.
So any device that's in human resources is going to pick up that policy. So in this case, anything, if you have recall, any device that's on the human resources, recall will be enabled.
Cool.
So that's the group.
And that just pushes that policy then out to that group.
Yep.
Awesome.
And we're going to refresh, and we're going to see the group
there you go.
Recall. And then once you click on recall, you will still be able to go back and edit the recall settings. So you can remove category.
You just disable it if you need to.
And just disable it if you need to do that.
So can we add additional policies here? Like, can we enable or disable? Now that we've got this group set up, can we disable click to do if we need to? And how do you go ahead and do that?
So we're going to go back to the configuration. We're going to create a new policy.
Okay. So you have to create a new policy every time.
So you don't have to create a new policy every time. You can go to the recall.
Okay.
Another thing you can do is you can just have a policy called AI features. You can
That's probably the
that.
best, yeah.
Would be the best thing to do.
Yeah.
And in there you can add additional AI features in there. So we can go back into recall and actually just use that.
Yeah. Let's keep all of our AI policies in one place.
Add settings.
Ah, there you go. And then just do it like we did before.
Yes. And even with that, the other thing you can do is if there's an additional policy that's not AI related, you can actually mix that in with the AI policy.
Okay.
So if you have an AI policy recall, you could have something else, another policy added as well into that.
Yeah, data protection policy.
Yes,
Which,
here display.
Yeah, it goes hand in hand. Sometimes display, yeah.
So, cool. So we're going to go to Windows AI. And there's your click to do. So by default, click to do is enabled on all devices, but here we're going to disable that.
It looks like you can also disable co-creator,
co-create, image creator, settings, and even the Copilot app itself. So you could actually have that removed So if you have a group that you do not want people using, the Copilot app,
right,
you can set that group as well. So anyone assigned to that group was not going to have the Copilot app.
That's great, because again, that would be a policy that would apply to all Windows devices, whether it's Copilot PCs or the Windows PCs. Any other ones in here that you want to highlight?
Let's go with that for now.
Mm-hmm.
And you can close out of that. We're going to click save, review and save. Now we're going to go back to the configuration. We're going to go to our recall. We're going to go to configuration settings. Mm-hmm. Yes, Windows, there's your click to do. It can be enabled or disabled.
Okay. Cool. And then you can also set up policies to manage things like studio effects as well within Intune. Great. So that's pretty much everything we wanted to show. Thank you so much for showing us the demo.
Absolutely.
And make sure we get all these policies enabled and deployed. There you go. The policies have been deployed and they're out in the wild and they're ready to be used, right?
Yes.
Cool.
That's correct.
So that's how you set up some policies within Intune to manage these Copilot Plus PCs. And the great thing about setting up the policies within Intune is if you're adding more devices to your environment, you can use a service like Autopilot to preload these new devices with these policies, correct?
Yes. So what you can do is, so if devices need to go into Intune, mm-hmm. With Autopilot, those devices get registered and they go through the deployment profile. Okay. The deployment profile is going to contain the groups where those policies were applied. Okay. So any device that goes through that deployment profile will pick up those policies.
So the great thing is, if you add 10 devices and 2 of them are going to HR, you just add those 2 to HR, they get the HR policies, and the other 8 get the other policies that they need. Yes. So it's not all in one shot.
Not all in one. And you can change that later if you need to.
That's awesome. Yep. And if any of you guys out there need help, or you want some assistance, or you want to use our pro services department to do a Autopilot enrollment, or even do things like adding asset tags, laser etching, green shipping to that as well, go ahead and reach out to us. We can help you out with that as well, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So that's a lot of great information today. We could do a whole webcast on just Intune, and if you guys are interested in that, drop us a line, solutionslab@dnh.com. It'd be something we'd be happy to do. But thank you for showing us this little bit of part of Intune, showing us how to manage these Copilot Plus PCs. Mm-hmm. If you guys have any questions about any of the things you saw today, we are going to be doing a live Q&A immediately following this, so stick around for that. But with that being said, Richie, thank you so much for your time, and thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking time out today to join us. Went through a lot of great information in that broadcast, learned a lot about how you can manage these new Copilot Plus PCs using Intune, something that you guys are probably already familiar with. So for the next little bit, we're going to be going through any questions you might have. So if you do have any questions, please don't hesitate. Drop them in the Q&A box, because that's what we're here to do right now, and kind of go through those questions as they come in. First, I want to start off with is the first question that came in is, I think it's a general question about Copilot Plus PCs in general. It's if a Copilot Plus, if a PC is shipped with Copilot Plus, can Copilot Plus, Windows Copilot Plus be removed and just normal Windows 11 be installed? And I think the one thing I wanted to note there before you kind of get an answer is the designation of what a Copilot Plus PC isn't like a version of Windows. It's a hardware specification.
Yes.
So kind of walk people through that then.
So with the Copilot Plus PC, once you buy that, it's usually hardware driven, but those features in there can be turned off. It can be done in the enterprise level, and you could do it to group policy as well. So you're able to go in there and remove the specific AI features in there, but the hardware does stay intact with the NPU. And the GPU all working together.
So let's say I took that device. It came, it had Copilot Plus. It was a Copilot Plus PC. When I opened it out of the box, I completely blow out the OS, install Windows 11. Those Copilot Plus PC features just show back up again.
Yes,
because it's one and the same as part of the operating system.
Yes.
Part of the
Yeah,
operating system.
it'll show up, and especially when you're installing it, when it does the Windows update, it installs all those packages that run the AI features. But again, with that, if you need to remove some of those features can be removed as well.
One question that came up is the ARM-based Copilot Plus PCs, the ones that were released first, any different than the devices we're seeing from Intel now?
No, they're not different at all. The only thing that I would say about that is just the application, because it's a 32-bit. But all Copilot Plus features are, it doesn't really matter if it's a 32-bit or a 64-bit. All those will work. It's only the applications that you download that's what determines what works with the ARM.
Right. And you and I both use the ARM-based ones.
Yes.
And both currently kind of using the Intel-based one right now as my daily driver. I haven't seen very many differences, but I will say for compatibility purposes, the Intel, the current x86 Copilot Plus PCs
would work. Yep.
Just work. They just work.
They just work.
So there's nothing to worry about in that front. In terms of feature loss, there's a question: is Microsoft 365 Copilot needed to use or manage Copilot Plus features?
No, it is not. If you do have the Entra license, you get there. If you do have a Copilot PC in the environment, and then you have a group that you create, if that device lives in that environment, those options will show up, which you can turn on and off. So you don't necessarily need the license that comes by default.
They're two different things. And that's actually kind of led to another question here. I'm going to skip forward because I just saw it. Why would I spend money on a Copilot Plus PC if my users already have Microsoft M365 Copilot? So they already have the licensed version of it. Why would you get a Copilot Plus PC on top of that?
So the Copilot Plus PC, the one feature about that is, and the sub features is AI is run locally compared to on the cloud.
Right.
So all those features, your NPU, when you do a prompt, or with some of the features like click to do, and some of the security features are all run locally and they don't connect to the cloud. So you don't have to have internet for some of these features to work. So with the Copilot license, that connects to the cloud. But with your regular Copilot Plus PC, that is all hardware driven. So the AI features in there are all done locally without being connected to the cloud.
The Copilot Plus features are all run locally. Now, if you've got a Copilot Plus PC and you've got M365, Microsoft M365 Copilot, are any of those Microsoft M365 Copilot features ran locally, or is that all still ran in the cloud?
That's all ran on the cloud.
Okay, so it doesn't matter if it's
it doesn't
Copilot
matter
Plus.
if you have Copilot Plus PC or not Copilot PC. That's just a license as a feature for all Windows devices.
And we can speculate if that stuff will ever come local. I would imagine at some point some of that stuff will just run locally as well if you have the ability to.
Yes, in the future they're planning on doing that, which is the AI Foundry.
Right.
Which they're working on.
You and I have seen pictures like in Teams where they have the live translation. That's happening. That can't, even if you have the M365, Microsoft M365 Copilot, without an NPU on device, that's not going to happen. It needs to happen instantaneously. So I have to imagine there are going to be features that are coming soon. That
definitely.
You absolutely need that NPU to take advantage of. Jonathan had a great question that you know quite a bit about, and I'd love for you to answer for everyone. What's autopilot?
What's autopilot?
We'll shift gears a little bit because this is something that I think we deal a lot with in terms of people going, what's the difference between autopilot and Intune and stuff?
So autopilot is, they call it I'll just call it the zero touch.
Yep.
So zero touch is in very simple terms, once you get a device, once it's enrolled, when the end user does get the device, once it's enrolled to autopilot, they don't have to go in and change the language, the region, any of that. You just have to all you need to do is just log in and everything's on there. Since it's managed, all your applications are all installed there. Your usernames and credentials and everything is on the cloud. So all you need to do is just log into your device.
All right, and that's something that D&H is able to help our customers out with.
Which is the provisioning. So if customers do buy PCs from us, we can do that provisioning. And when it ships right from our warehouse to the end user, all they need to do is just turn on the laptop and they're ready to go. You just put in the username and password and they're good to go.
I almost segued this into for you, Brian. This is how I'm working for you, Brian. Brian asked specifically, is there a particular warehouse that those orders need to come from for the zero touch enrollment through Autopilot?
Not from a particular warehouse, but once they come to our it's the Canada warehouse and our Harrisburg warehouse where they do come in. That's where we provide those services.
The Mississauga.
Yeah,
yeah. My wife is going to kill me for mispronouncing it.
Well, it depends where you say it. If you say it here or say it in Canada.
Exactly. She's because we got engaged in Toronto, which is like a stone's throw away from Mississauga. I'm only making the Canadian people more upset. I'm sorry. I apologize. Next question was, is there separate licensing in terms of Intune for Windows 11 devices and Copilot Plus PC devices?
No, there's not, because a Copilot Plus PC, which again we mentioned, it's only the hardware that is different. But a Windows 11, but they all have Windows 11, so extra licenses are not needed for that. And that's the nice thing about the Copilot Plus PC features is everything comes as is. There's no extra payment for that. People have asked. Some of the features like click to do, you have to pay for that.
Yeah.
Like, no, that actually comes with the Copilot Plus PC.
I would pay to add it to a PC, but then I should just get a Copilot Plus PC. It's every time I leave the comfort of a Copilot Plus PC and go back to traditional Windows device, I try and hold the Windows key to do click to do, and then when it doesn't show up, I get sad because it's one of the more useful tools I've found with that. Next question was, I think it was we'll stay on the hardware front. Does the number of cores matter for the NPU to get that AI capability, to get that Copilot Plus PC seal, or is it just the NPU's total?
It's
power?
only it is the NPU that really matters when it comes to Copilot Plus PC. Cores don't really matter when it comes to Copilot Plus PC. One of the features of the Copilot Plus PC is the NPU. The NPU is what you need to have, and the NPU starts with to have a good running Copilot Plus PC, you talk about 40 plus tops, which is terabytes of operations per second. So that's what you'd be looking at. So you have 40 tops, you got 50 tops, 60 tops. I think they have up to 1,000 right now, apparently. So that's what really matters on that. But anything that has those an NPU, those are the Copilot features that would work.
A couple of people asked for some clarifications on we were talking about Autopilot a couple minutes ago.
Yeah.
One of the clarifications was that the devices have to go to the warehouse for Autopilot, or is there a way for Autopilot to happen without waiting for those devices to be enrolled by D&H? I think we should just kind of talk about what zero touch actually is. Yeah.
So there are two ways when these devices come into our warehouse. One is just a regular provisioning and a full provisioning. So in your Intune environment, there's some options in there. One is called a self-deploy. So a self-deploy is when the user does get the device. With the self-deploy, they just need to log in without even registering. The only thing about the self-deploy is some of the applications will be installed after the user logs in. Now we have full provisioning. Mm-hmm. Full provisioning is when those devices come to a warehouse, we will provision those devices. As in, when we provision, we actually make sure those apps get loaded, is joined to the domain, and then the user will once we ship that out, the user will get the laptop, and all they need to do is log in. So that kind of eliminates that.
Okay. Yeah. And then Jonathan, once one thing cleared up, to be clear, do you need a specific M365 license in order to take advantage of Autopilot from the D&H warehouses?
It is the Entra ID that you really need to get. That is the license, and I think we have there's a P1 license, P2 license. That's kind of the base to get you started with to get Autopilot working.
So we talked about it a little bit during the actual broadcast, how it's kind of difficult to sometimes identify what is a Copilot Plus PC within the dashboard. They were just, Jonathan again is asking best practices of just discovering which PCs are Copilot Plus. What are some of the tips and tricks that you found to figure that out?
Usually, I do like to just look for the NPU. When you go analyze the devices, because you're gonna see the processor, like the different processes that work. But you can also see the NPU. That's the way I look at some of those. That's just the best way to do it. So when you go there, you'll see CPU, GPU, and if it's a Copilot Plus PC, you're going to see that NPU on there.
All right. We're going to do last call for questions here real quick as we kind of pile through the last couple of questions. One of the ones was in terms of Copilot versus non-Copilot PCs in Intune is the only features then, the only difference between them is the features you can enable at that point when you're managing them. Okay. Is P1 the absolute base or P2?
P1 would be the absolute base.
Okay, so P1 is going to be your absolute base. And then Christopher, you're hired. It's pronounced Mississauga. Mississauga.
Mississauga.
So I hope I got it right. And you know, I don't want to make our Canadian friends upset. Love you guys. I want to get back to Toronto soon. Trust me, my wife's been begging me to go back. So, does D&H provide supplies before or after shipment for the autopilot machines? D&H provides support. Sorry, my brain's not working. So support for or after these things ship.
Some of the support that we have is when you do have issues while they're in the warehouse, we do definitely support that. Once they leave the warehouse, Microsoft is really the place to go because all this is all cloud driven. But anything that comes to a warehouse, when they, and, if there's any questions or anything about that, or even before they come to the warehouse, we can answer that for you.
All right. So that was a blitz of questions.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for all your questions. If you have a question after the fact, you think of something for tomorrow, you're watching this on demand, you want to ask some questions, don't hesitate, reach out to us, techsolutions@dnh.com. Myself, Richie, any of the members of our team, we're happy to answer those questions. But thank you for joining us. Thank you for taking the time out of your day. I really appreciate you guys coming in to learn a little bit more about Intune and how you manage these Copilot Plus PCs. Because these are great devices, and I think once we kind of figure out more about how to manage these things, that can be more and more useful in our day-to-day lives. So for Richie, Chris, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you guys next time.
Thank you.